Welcome everybody to another episode of the show. You're kind of seeing me a little bit. It's kind of smaller on my screen, so let me just go ahead and adjust that if I can. But it always gets kind of wonky out there. There I am. I'm getting a little. It's getting a little bit bigger on the screen. But anyways, thank you for joining us on another episode of the show here on Hbtv. I am your host. If you are a returning visitor here and viewer, I do thank you for your time. And if this is your first time, welcome to the show on HBTV. We are here and it's built to hopefully influence and inspire, educate and empower. And what we do is bring on guests on the show who's doing exactly that in the world community, not just locally or in this nation of America, but just globally in the whole world. So if you haven't had that chance, please subscribe, like, hit that little bell for any alerts that, when HBTV is on, and share. And we have a great episode tonight with our special guests. We have the global Seed Savers. They're here with us. We have Lee Hizola and also Sherry Manning to join us to talk about global seed savers. So I'm very, very excited about that. And just really quick, just to preface, like who they are. I'm just off their site. I just want to read a little bit of something for you guys. The Global Seed Savers is an international development nonprofit organization, and they are committed to building hunger-free and healthy communities with access to sustainable farmer-produced food and seeds. They are committed to supporting food security in the Philippines, which is great, through education and empowering farmers to return to the historical practice of saving seeds. They are no longer dependent on purchasing seeds after each planting and forced to use harmful chemicals to grow these seeds. So through their education and training programs, the Filipino organic farmers, they gain hands-on skills and knowledge they need to propagate, store, save, and sell their own regionally adapted organic seeds. So again, this is what the Global Seed Savers are about. We're going to talk more in depth with our guests. So help me welcome our guests. Hey guys, can you hear me? Yeah. Well, let me make sure our mics are on. Okay, one more time. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for taking the time to join us on the show. I do appreciate it. Karen, how are you? I know it's early morning over there in the Philippines.
All good. It's all good. It's 9 o'clock in the morning here.
9 a.m. And
Yeah.
Sherry, how's it going over there? I believe you're in Denver, right?
I am in Denver. Yeah, it's 7 p.m. It's been a windy afternoon and evening here in Denver, but I'm good and happy to be here. Thanks for having us, Harry.
Thank you for joining us. So do me a quick favor, since this is the first time that we're meeting you guys. Just do me a favor and just introduce yourselves individually. We'll go with you, Sherry, first, and then Karen.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Sherry Manning. I'm the founder and U.S. Executive Director of Global Seed Savers. I'm based here in Denver, Colorado, but I've been working in the Philippines with Global Seed Savers since 2011, but we really got our footing and became a more robust organization since 2015. And perhaps I'll have a chance to talk about this later in the show, but my work in the Philippines began well over a decade ago when I was very fortunate to be assigned to Tublay, Benguet, and serve as a Peace Corps volunteer from 2006 to 2008. So that's what first brought me to the Philippines, and since then, very fortunate to continue the work there and have wonderful lifelong friendships and communities that we work with in the Philippines.
That's awesome. Thank you. And Karen.
Yeah, I'm Lee Hizola. I'm currently the executive director of Global Seed Savers Philippines. I've been working with Global Seed Savers for about 5 years now. I think earlier it was a program manager here in the country. And permaculture and in the environment and in working with farmers. So yeah.
Awesome. We kind of broke up a little bit there, but hopefully the Zoom connection will pick back up as our stream goes on. But thank you for that. So really quick, the Global Seed Savers and Sher, you touched upon your involvement in the Philippines, and of course we can go back with that. But tell us a little more about the services and what you guys are doing out there in the Philippines for these farmers.
Karen, please take a stab at that.
Yeah. So essentially, what we do is we give trainings and educational opportunities for farmers, and we try to advocate them going back to saving their own seeds, because it was only essentially in the last like 30 or 40 years that farmers have become dependent on farm supply stores here. And yeah, so that's essentially what we do. We also help start seed libraries. Go man in the country, so one in the north and one in the Visayas. So the Visayas, if you're familiar with the geography of the country, it's in the middle. And then we help inspire the creation of seed libraries in other places too.
Thank you for that. As far as seed libraries, this is the first time, honestly, I'm hearing about doing a seed library, right? So please take us through that. Like, why is that important, and how was it done previously? As you're saying, you know, for them to go back to the traditional ways, like how was that done traditionally, and then like what are you guys doing now with that?
Yeah, I'll jump in, and Karen, please, we can tag team. We can all answer these questions pretty well. So, in short, a seed library is a library like a book library, except it has seeds. It has seeds that farmers have propagated, and a portion of those seeds they're sharing in a communal library. And so the way that our seed libraries work currently is we have anywhere between 15 to 20 farmers in those communities that are growing out seeds. And then they're saving a portion of those seeds on their farm, and then also distributing those into a seed library. And then the idea is that farmers can then check out those seeds, and if and when they can, they return twice as much to kind of stick with that sustainability model. And to go back to your bigger question, Harry, about why this is important, why are we doing this? Mm-hmm. You know, really all of our ancestors grew seeds and cultivated food crops. It's really only in the last 30 to 40 years, as the chemical company control over our food system mm-hmm. has really forced communities to stop propagating their own seeds. And seeds are meant to be adapted and grown time and time again. They're actually, one of our mentors always says, they're the most resilient system we have, because they're literally designed to be planted time and time again. And we once had the diversity in our food system here in the United States, certainly in the Philippines, when farmers were cultivating crops and saying, wow, I really love this tomato, or I really love this sweet potato, which is a tuber, not a seed, but similar process. I want to replant this because I want that same delicious tomato, mm-hmm. or I want that same adaptation that happens. You know, this tomato survived a storm, so I know that it will survive the next storm. And so what we're really helping communities do is go back to what we've always known has worked, which is growing our own food, saving our own seeds, and allowing those seeds to do what they're meant to do, which is to adapt. The challenge is that the seeds that are mainly available on the market, certainly in the Philippines, to farm supply stores, are only often chemically treated seeds. They're hybrid seeds. They're seeds that don't always allow those adaptations to take place. And so they're not as vigorous. They're not as resilient for communities. And so we're really wanting to help restore that resiliency. And I'll just say one more thing. You know, our founding seed library in Tublay, Benguet, which is about an hour north of Baguio City, for your listeners that know the Philippines, it's a bookshelf. Really, it's kind of a small bookshelf, but there's around 60 different varieties of seeds there that have been grown by the community. And those are now available, and they're adapting, and they're serving the purpose that they're meant to serve. So
Yeah, I was when you guys said library, so I'm thinking like old school library with a Dewey Decimal System, and I'm looking at the card catalog and say, hey, yeah, I want this seed, and it's right here in in this shelf. But so a couple questions on that. So you're saying that you got the 60 seeds or these kinds of seeds here in this bookshelf. How many seeds per farmer or per barangay or town is allowed to take from this jar or this box? And then number two, as far as like how you mentioned chemically, I don't know, engineered type seeds, like what is the logic behind those companies manufacturing these type of seeds in that sense versus why not stick with the organic way? Like what's the issues there? Karen?
Yeah. So a couple of things. So for your first question, regarding how many seeds, like essentially, like even 2 3 grams of seeds is a lot. So a farmer can essentially go in and borrow, for example, 2 grams or 3 grams of tomato seeds and then plant them, and then return like twice as much the following season. Um, and in Benguet here in the north, we have around 20 farmers. So that's essentially what's been done. So they select the seeds that they want. They fill out the form and then take the seeds out, plant them, grow them, and then come back and then replenish the seeds.
Okay.
Yeah, and for your second question, what's the logic behind? Can you repeat the question again? What's the logic behind?
Right. So like why did it transfer or transform from like big businesses creating these type of seeds and using chemicals like Sherry was saying was not sustainable for what you guys are doing and the template what you guys are doing with the farmers now. So I mean why would they do that? What's the advantage of that versus I think the way you guys are doing things now and trying to get back to the older ways. I don't know how to put it, traditional ways, would seem more logical. You know what I mean? So I don't get it.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's actually a really great question. We all have unique perspectives, but I think coming from their perspective, I think their aim is food security.
Hmm.
Um, but what's happening is that farmers have become dependent on them,
Mm.
and I think the key thing there is that the seeds that they buy from farm supplies, so in a sense from these big agrochemical companies,
Mm.
they're not really adapted to the location where the farmers are.
Mm.
Plus, they don't have the same climate adaptation to the location. So, for example, if a family of farmers has been saving seeds generation by generation, like for example, over like 2 or 3 decades, that means the seeds have been adapted to their area. But in the case of seeds that we get from farm supplies, normally these are hybrid seeds. So once they plant it, they harvest it. They're not able to save seeds because when they replant the seeds from their first harvest, they're not going to get anything that's true to type. So when I say true to type, they're not going to be physically similar to the first round of plants or produce that they were able to produce.
Again, you guys are watching HBTV the second season with my guests tonight. Global Seed Savers with Sherry and also Karen. And this is all interesting to me. Now, the way you guys are speaking, you guys are you guys seed scientists? You know, I mean, like, is that your guys is that your guys' background? I know Sherry, you're talking about the Peace Corps, but I mean, like, how did you guys get into this stuff? Karen, please start us off.
Yeah, actually, my background is electronics engineering, so I'm an engineer by training.
Okay.
But I got interested in permaculture. I've always been interested in what's happening to the environment. I've always been um, actually very particular about life biodiversity. And so when I studied permaculture, I realized that this is actually the system that's going to help um, bring back the state of the land to a better health. And yeah, because we should always put it in our heads that nature is very abundant, and we just forget that. We try to control a lot of things that we shouldn't actually be controlling, or we don't really have, proper control of. I suppose that's part of, that's part of the human psyche. So in 2015, I met Sherry, and that's when I started working with her. And yeah, so that's
Awesome.
like
That
the basic run through.
that's great. That's great. And you, Sherry, here's where we get to go into that Peace Corps action right there.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I'm not a seed scientist.
Mhm.
I think people, when people hear the word seed saving, it connotates so many different things in people's head. Like maybe the language that we're using feels very scientific, or
Mhm.
sometimes people just think of their grandma in the backyard saving a few seeds every season. And actually, it is as simple as that. In fact, if every person saved one seed of something they grew that they loved, we would be in a better place. We would have more of that diversity returned. So I certainly, the foundation of my work in the Philippines and the work with this organization is my Peace Corps service, where really I spent 2.5 years learning what it takes to be an organic farmer. I was a hippie college student
Mhm.
right out of college, fairly naive about the world, and went and was assigned to this incredible community and this amazing family who had this beautiful farm, and got to learn from them. And really, prior to that, I didn't know what it took to grow your own food and grow your sustenance. And I didn't really understand the challenges that farmers have around the world until that experience. So, I think we learn a lot as the staff of this organization
Mhm.
from our partners. The farmers are our teachers. And I think that we're at a place in our world where we're needing that even more so, right? COVID-19 is highlighting the inequities in our food system around the globe, both in our own backyard here in the United States, as well as throughout the Philippines. And I think that people are starting to recognize how important farmers are to our sustenance and to our life. And so I've learned a lot from them. I've learned from other organizations. We're all very self-taught folks. But I think Karen and I both would say we take a lot of our lessons from the farmers themselves.
That's great. And Karen, just a little bit about background about myself. Born here, raised here, but in 1977 from 1980, I had the opportunity to go back home and live in Zambales, Botolapo, near Iba, Zambales, so up there. And during that time, had great experiences. One of my experiences was to actually live on a farm that my mom's family had owned. So we had tractor, right? So even at the age of 4.5 and 5, I was in that seat with my uncles, and we're tilling the land for the rice. And also, when the tractor broke down, it always does. The carabao, as we would say, people say
Hmm.
caribou, but the carabao, right? We had to till it with that. So just as for you guys talked about education and arming these farmers with the proper tools, whether it be mentally, through education and everything like that, and also maybe hardware. Like what types of programs do you guys put the farmers through to be up to date, to learn, and how is that implemented through your programs?
Hmm. Cool. Yeah. So essentially, we start with seed school, and they go through a training program. And in that seed school, we talk about why it's important to go back to saving seeds, and then we talk about what the importance of flowers is, and how it's part of the whole system of saving seeds. And then we talk about how they can save seeds and how they can store seeds. So that's like seed school in a quick summary. And then they also go through a teacher training program wherein they're taught how to teach seed school. So essentially, whenever we go to different areas in the country, we always have farmers with us who co-facilitate and co-train with us. And I think that's the main difference that our program has with most other agriculture programs here. And we, like Sherry said, we take our marching orders from the farmers. So we ask them from time to time what they need, and we try to observe also if those needs are things that we can specifically address or meet. And so, like, we have we have created we've actually brought the farmers to computer training because of course we're already in this very technological era, and we cannot separate our work from technology anymore. And so we've done that. We've also done culinary and nutrition training, just so they would understand the value of what they are growing and the value of actually doing organic farming, because really the first part of organic farming, the first few years, is actually really challenging. It's a little bit more labor intensive than regular chemical farming. So yeah, those are the type of things that we do.
And Sherry, would you like to add anything
Yeah,
to
I'll
that
just
topic?
add that most of our farmers are smallholder farmers, certainly in the north. So they own a small parcel of land, and in the United States, when we hear farms, certainly in California, you think big swaths of land. One of our most successful seed savers and farmers in Benguet has 250 square meters of land. So it's a small vegetable garden, really. But he has 30 different varieties growing in that small area. So he's really built an ecosystem, and that's part of the reason why he's been very successful. And most of these farmers don't have tractors. They're not, it's hard manual labor. But something that we have been able to do through the generosity of our supporters and in light of previous typhoons that have happened in the north is we were able to get a variety of different hand tractors that now the association that we helped form in Benguet, the Benguet Association of Seed Savers, they now share that equipment. So it's almost like a shared tool library. Rather than all 20 farmers needing to purchase this expensive and difficult equipment that they don't need all the time, they share that amongst themselves. So that's a lot of what we're trying to help create too, is these shared economies, right? And helping build community around this network of farmers that are all in it together. They may be growing whatever they're growing on their land, but they can still learn from and exchange and share with their neighbors and with their fellow farmers.
Again, you guys are watching Hbtv, the show with your host Harry Bugarin and my special guest tonight, Global Seed Savers. You guys touched upon this is a computer age and technology, right? How is that? How are you guys doing with that? Meaning, like, are people able to donate equipment, computers, PCs, laptops, with that, or is that something that you guys are really looking for as well, to upgrade on you guys' equipment? We go with Sherry.
Or Karen, you're welcome to answer. Well, yes, Harry, we are a nonprofit organization. We are always looking for support. There's many ways to get engaged. You certainly can make donations. Cash donations are wonderful. You can go to our website, globalseedsavers.org, to learn more. We call ourselves a small but mighty team. So if anyone out there is interested in donating technology, we would be more than happy to have that conversation. That hasn't really been a need for us quite yet. But we're welcome to have those dialogues. And I don't know if Karen has more comments on that.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. We would welcome any donation, actually, and I'm sure that if anyone is interested in donating technology, we'd be able to use that in very, very smart and wonderful ways, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Have we have you reached out to my cousin Manny Pacquiao in that area yet? I'm just giving a shout out to Manny Pacquiao. If you're watching this, and I hope you will in the future, we got the Global Seed Savers in your area, brother. People's champ. They can use your help. We can use your help. But I mean that was serious. But are you guys tapping into like any local figures, whether in the Middle Islands, the North Islands, or the South Islands, like that? And has the Global Seed Savers been out and been marketed out there for a lot more people?
Sherry?
I was gonna let you go, Karen. Yeah. I would actually say something that's been really amazing about our current times and this year, despite all of its challenges and all of its difficulty in making many of us feel very isolated from each other, is from a Global Seed Savers perspective, it's actually really brought us all together. And I would say that that has a lot to do with the relationships and the work that we built prior to the pandemic. And I'll let Karen describe that a little bit more. But we're always interested in talking with like-minded partners, talking with other organizations that want to help support our work. And the pandemic has actually opened a lot of those doors. And through the power of technology, we've been able to even bring our seed schools to new communities. We held a training, or Karen and Harry, our other staff member that's based in Cebu, held a training just a few months ago via technology with Surigao Island with a nonprofit called Local. And so I think we're all learning to adapt, and something, we're all finding ways to be more interconnected in this new reality. And I think that that's been really helpful for us at Global Seed Savers.
Well, Harry, if Harry is watching, I'm wearing our shirt, brother. So DM me, brother. I'll try to get one out to you. You can wear it in the field at Global Seed Savers, Harry boy, right there. So just wanted to transition a little bit, with our time going on. I believe you guys have an event that's coming up pretty soon, right? Can you guys please talk about that and what's that? What it's all about?
Yeah. I'll just give the big picture and then Karen can share a little bit more. So yeah, we host an annual celebration. Typically it's in person, but we're adapting. And so this will be our 10th annual virtual Nourish celebration. And it's really an opportunity for our community to come together, for our supporters to come together. We've been really fortunate in the last few years to bring over folks from the Philippines. So Karen was here in Denver with us 2 years ago for the event. And I'll let Karen share about the local speakers we have this year. But it's online. It's on Friday, October 23rd, or that would be Saturday, October 24th at 8:30 a.m. in the Philippines. And it's going to be a wonderful celebration of our farmers and an opportunity to learn more about the work that we do. And I'll let Karen share more about the speakers that we have.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sherry. So we have lined up Teresa Ruelas. She's the executive director of our partner nonprofit in Cebu. So how we operate is really partnering with groups, nonprofits, LGUs, organizations, and then our artist on board actually is Faye Oleo. She's a spoken word poet, and she actually really writes very beautifully. And yeah, it would be worth a watch. Harry, you should go. You should join us.
Okay, I plan to. Any other speakers that are notable that you want to give shout outs for that?
Sherry?
No, that's it. Karen and I both will be speaking briefly, just sharing more about Global Seed Savers, but those are kind of the special guest speakers. So, and again, you can go to globalseedsavers.org to learn more about the event.
Okay, good. So, I mean, our time is coming up short. You guys saw my little flash there on the screen, but just off the top of your heads, is there anything else that you guys want to tell our viewers and people out there? Any other information?
Sherry, you want to go first? Okay. Yeah. So essentially, COVID-19, the pandemic has shown us how interconnected we are, even though we are trying to physically distance. And it's also highlighted how fragile our food systems are. And this is important because this time right now it's actually the turning point in history, where if we make the right choices and if we choose to do the things that are nature positive or nature based, then there's a bigger chance that we as a as a people, as humanity, can survive and help ensure that the environment as well does better. Um, and yes, the pandemic has also highlighted the importance of our farmers, because if we don't have any farmers, we won't have any food. It's something that we always try to also ingrain in the minds of our farmers, because essentially, there's an unspoken social stratification in the country. And some of the farmers always think and feel that I'm just a farmer, what can I do? And they forget that they contribute a whole lot into that whole system, the whole ecosystem. That's it. Thank you very much, Harry. Thank you for inviting us here.
No problem. And Sherry, do you have anything off the top of your head that anything else you want to share?
No, I mean, Karen always represents us so well and states things so beautifully. I'll just say it's always great, Harry, to connect with other Filipinos that are doing good work and wanting to spread goodness in the world. So thank you for having us. And I think she's watching, so I'm going to give her a little shout out. I heard about you and found you through my dear friend Sigrid, who's in Sagada, who's an incredible potter. And I watched her show and her interview with you months ago, and then we connected. So little shout out there to Sigrid up in Sagada, and thanks for helping connect us with Harry. And let's all keep doing the good work and taking care of community and taking care of each other, and we'll keep marching forward.
And I have to bounce off that, piggyback off of you again, Sigrid. I do hope you're watching, and thank you again. And Sharon and I connected, and to go back a little bit further, my cousin, my dear cousin Emiliana Quinto, she's the one that hooked me up with Sigrid as well. So we're all connected. We're all here supporting each other. And especially our Filipino community, but just everybody in the world community. We're trying to support. So just really quick, just last final things. I see Karen, you play some guitar back there. Are you a musician as well? Do you have a single coming out, that we can go see on iTunes? And what kind of music do you play?
I actually just play for myself.
Okay.
So, but I do love. I play a few instruments. I'm currently learning the violin, but I have been tasked to create a song for a seed sovereignty campaign that we're going to hold. I think this November. We'll start this November. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to hear it. I play a little bit myself. Maybe we can jam sometime offline.
Oh, yeah.
And we can go with that. But thank you guys. You guys are very inspiring, honestly, and you guys are doing a great thing for our world community. And thank you for coming on Hbtv, the show. I do appreciate it. Blessings to you guys. You guys stay safe during this time. Have a blessed week as well. Love to your family and everybody out there, and you guys stay safe. I would love to get you guys back on the show, later on, maybe in season 3 or something, just to do a recap or like an update, and just keep spreading that word that you guys got going on, and maybe we can get some people stateside to volunteer with you guys to get that message out. Maybe even send some seeds themselves. I know one farmer out in Missouri. I'm definitely going to tag him and send him this link about you guys, and just get the word out. Again, this is our world community. We're all one people under that heavenly sky. So, I'm here to support you guys and do whatever I can in my power as well. So, blessings, much love and success to you guys, and please continue to do the great work you guys are doing out there in the Philippines. Hopefully you guys can hit Zambales. Okay, can we get a representative, maybe Harry, go up to Zambales and get out there to Botolan and Iba. So maybe if he's out there vacationing up there, love to my Botolan and Zambales people. But you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Thanks very much, Harry.
Take care.
No
Bye-bye.
problem. All right, so that was our episode tonight. Our special guest tonight on Hbtv, the show, the Global Seed Savers. Check them out. Let me see if I can get my hand right. There it is, Global Seed Savers. Look them up on Instagram. I got the information in the video description. So once I post this on YouTube, go ahead and check that out in the description. Don't forget about their event. All that information is going to be on their website. So until next time, until next Sunday, on HBTV, the show at 6 p.m. We'll see you guys. Everybody, please stay safe and stay blessed.